Nightcrawler. Screenwriter Dan Gilroy's directing debut brings us a satirical character-led drama. So, back with Jonathan Groubert, we're going to have a little chat about this film. What do you think?
Well, you know what? I thought it was a fascinating character study more than anything. I think in Nightcrawler we're introduced to Jake Gyllenhaal, who is the actor who's playing the lead. And Jake's character is someone who is living on the very edges of society in modern-day Los Angeles. At the very first scene, and I don't think we're giving much away, he's stealing metals from an industrial site, and when he gets caught, we are also introduced to the fact that his character has an almost Asperger's-like extraordinary use of language, and then when he gets caught by a rent-a-cop for stealing, he immediately beats the crap out of him when he realizes he can't talk his way out of the situation. So immediately we come to realize that our protagonist is not the nicest person, and this is the person who we're meant to follow around through the entire film.
Which, for audiences, they're not used to seeing Jake Gyllenhaal playing those kind of characters. He's always a good guy. Yeah. And so this is a departure for him, and I think that he has an incredible external characterization, which is, I have to say, it's a very impressive bit of acting. But you're not introduced to somebody who is very likable. And if you're going to have any kind of film, you have a character who starts at point A. Something profound happens to them throughout the film. They're transformed, and they end up different. They end up at point B, and you're taken along for the ride, and there's some kind of great climax, and you see how the characters change at the end. Without giving too much away, all I have to say is this doesn't exactly happen to Jake Gyllenhaal. He starts off at point A, kind of a bad person who's rather desperate. He makes a success of becoming the worst kind of ambulance-chasing news cameraman who goes about setting up situations just so that he can film them. Something very profound happens at the end, and he ends the film a bad person, which is basically where he started out at, and this is ultimately the problem that this film has, because you don't see any kind of character transformation whatsoever. And while I did find the film very enjoyable, I mean, that's in the end, what does it come down to? I spent 2 hours in a theater watching something. Did I like it? Yes, I liked it. Is it a great bit of acting from Jake Gyllenhaal? Absolutely. Is it a great film? Not so much, actually. No. What do you think? Did you think it was any good? I found it really interesting, exploring that culture. A bit challenging. I would have liked to have seen more of a challenge to people watching. Like, we're the consumers of this material. We love watching all this stuff. And the other day there was like a police chase in Vondel Park, and I almost got my own phone out and started seeing what's going on. So it's just like there was very little. It was Lewis Bloom, the character. Lewis Bloom, it was very easy to kind of dismiss him as a weirdo, but it's like we're all involved in this racket because we watch it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the fact of the matter is we can judge his character for becoming ever more depraved in his pursuit of television news stories. But the fact of the matter is he wouldn't be chasing these television news stories if, in fact, we, as the consumer, weren't interested in them. Mm-hmm. The problem is we as the consumer, the people who are watching it, are never indicted in this film. It is a pure character study. Jake Gyllenhaal is on the screen in every single scene. And eventually, while the story is very interesting, he does not develop. There's no real character development.
Yeah, he just gets a lot better at what he's doing.
Yes.
Because he wasn't so great at it when he started out, which was funny. And that's the crazy thing. It's like there's really serious points in this and some gruesome moments. But then there's some comedy at the most inappropriate moments.
Yes, you think this is where we disagreed, folks, because she was like, I thought this was an excellent satire, whereas I just thought it was entirely dark. There were a couple of laughs, but I never thought it was a satire. Why did you think it was a satire?
I think it's just taken it to the extreme. We're not at that point yet. We're far before that point. So I think it's like a total exaggeration and wanting to illustrate this is how bad things can get if we continue down this road.
This is why you think it's a satire, because it has to do with the level of the cynicism of the person watching it. I'm so cynical
you think we're there already?
I think that we're there already, that you do have people chasing, film crews chasing ambulances, especially in the United States, where this takes place, where people do want to, as the expression goes, and this was an expression I already knew going into the theater, but was repeated a couple of times in the film. if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, I guess, but we can't give anything away. But there are Nightcrawlers. There are these guys doing stringers. They're called, but I don't think they go as far as Louis Bloom goes in this film.
And I think they would if they could. And that's the difference.
So it's certainly like one to debate. I think I would recommend it. Yeah.
I think that I would recommend it too if there was nothing else good on. That's what I would do. Nightcrawlers.
And there is a good film on, because this week also you have Interstellar from Christopher Nolan.
Okay, so if you're setting it up, which film would you see, Interstellar or Nightcrawler? I would probably go see Interstellar. Not even having seen it.
I think that's more of a cinematic movie. You can easily wait for this one on the DVD.
Indeed. I agree.
Interstellar. From The Dark Knight, writer-director Christopher Nolan, an interstellar journey begins when a team of astronauts use a wormhole to another galaxy looking to secure the future of the human race. Stars Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. Revenge of the Green Dragons. Set in 1980s New York, the film tracks two friends who join the Green Dragon gang and make their way up in the Chinese underworld. Aan Moddervakker. Dutch tragicomedy about guys who refuse to grow up and girls who do the opposite. Pak van Mijn Hart. Dutch romantic comedy. Two brothers running a clothes rental business in the run-up to Christmas meet businesswoman Julia, whose offer may change their lives forever. The German Doctor, or Wacholder. Argentinian director and writer Lucia Puenzo brings us the true story of an Argentine family who are unaware they have been living with a notorious Nazi war criminal. Three Hearts, or Trois Coeurs. French drama. A missed train back to Paris leads a man and a woman to spend the night roaming the streets and getting to know each other. But when they arrange to meet up again, all does not go as planned. Violet. Young adult movie from Belgium. A 15-year-old boy sees his friend get stabbed and has to deal with the aftermath. Kissa, the tale of a lonely ghost. A man who loses everything during the separation of India in 1947 is forced to leave his homeland. He obsessively wishes for a male heir, so when his fourth daughter is born, he decides to wage a fight against destiny. Punjabi spoken. On in Amsterdam this week, the annual animation festival Klik takes place in the iFilm Museum. It runs from the 4th of November until Sunday the 9th of November. See klikamsterdam.nl to find out more. Not far out of town, the Leiden International Film Festival is still going on until Sunday the 9th of November. It's known for its American indie competition, but you'll also have the chance to see some films a tiny bit before their general release dates, such as Mr. Turner and The Skeleton Twins. Old classics like The Elephant Man and Tim Burton's Batman can also be seen on the big screen. For more information, see leidenfilmfestival.nl.